I call this special meeting of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch Independent School District Board of Trustees to order at 6:00 p.m. on May 16th, 2018. As required by Board Policy BBD Local, let the minutes reflect that all board members have exceeded the continuing education training hours required for the previous training period. With the school board election held on May the 5th, 2018, a new reporting period for acquiring continuing education training has begun, and board members will begin acquiring new hours very soon, by the way. For the record, all board members are present. We do constitute a quorum and can conduct business on behalf of the district. Yes, folks, I do have a script, but I'm going to get off of it for just a second before I continue on. First of all, I want to thank you all for giving up your time on this Wednesday night to be here. I would ask that with a crowd this large that you remain civil and respectful during this process tonight, and I know you will. Now, just so you know what may or may not happen tonight, in a few minutes we're going to go into closed session with our attorneys. Afterward, we may or may not name a lone finalist. Also, on June the 7th, at our regular scheduled board meeting, we may or may not vote to hire any lone finalist that we may or may not have named. Now then, what I want you all to understand is how hard the people sitting up here have worked in the last couple of months during this process. This is the hardest thing a school board has to do. Setting a tax rate, piece of cake. Firing a superintendent, most of the time that's a piece of cake. But hiring one is the hardest thing a school board does in the state of Texas. I just hope that you appreciate each one of these people sitting up here, but they've spent a lot of time and studied a lot, and I, for one, am very appreciative of all their efforts. And speaking of the school board, I need to introduce someone who, on June the 7th, will be sworn in as our newest member of the school board. She and some other guy will be sworn in on that night. Sally Derrick, please stand up there in the back. Okay, now we will proceed with agenda item number 2, closed meeting as authorized under Texas Government Code, including but not limited to section 551.074 personnel matters. Additionally, as provided in the notice of this meeting, the board may convene into closed session on any item on the agenda in accordance with chapter 551, subchapters D and E of the Texas Government Code. The board is also convening into closed session under 551.071 Texas Government Code, consultation with the district's attorney regarding legal issues related to the selection of superintendent finalist. The board will meet in the closed session for discussion with the superintendent applicants and consult with attorney. Audience members are welcome to remain in the boardroom as board members recess into room 150, the executive conference room, for deliberations. The time is now 6:04 p.m. In open session, having returned from closed session. The time is now 7:43. Excuse me. Board members, our next agenda item is number 3, select superintendent finalist. And this item is marked for action. Is there a motion to be made at this time?
Mr. Matthews.
Ms. Klein.
I move that the board name Dr. John Chapman as lone finalist for the position of Superintendent of Schools for CFBISD, and further move that the board authorize Tara Herbacek to negotiate a proposed contract of employment with the assistance of District Legal Counsel in accordance with the terms discussed in closed session.
I have a motion from Ms. Klein. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Shackman. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your hand. All those against? With a vote of 5 in favor and 1 against, the motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our agenda, and we're adjourned at 7:44.